Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. Now it's real time, sponsored by the Mill Casino.
Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to join Mr. Don Newman from P-Line. It's been way too long since we've had a chance to talk with Don, and usually when we talk about P-Line, we talk about a number of their different fluorocarbon products and how I like to utilize them, either be from steelhead to trout fishing to targeting Chinook. But I wanted to talk about some of the products that are available. EndurX is one of them that might help us be more successful targeting summer steelhead. Now, first things first, Don, it's great to see you, man, in the beautiful part of the world that you live in down there.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it is a nice day. We're supposed to be 90-degree weather today. So this was the only, I just moved into a new house, so this was the only P-Line gear I had, but I'm going to be getting out of this long sleeve t-shirt real quickly.
Well, you know, it's a different 90 degrees down there. You know, the California 90 and an Oregon 90, you know, that's more comfortable down there, right?
Yeah, it's a dry heat, right?
I love that statement. That's always hilarious. Well, the perfect time. We get questions a lot. A couple of years ago, we had a chance to talk about EndurX for the first time here on Outdoor GPS, and I've used a little bit of it since then. In particular, some high-vis and black that I like to use when I'm casting different spinners or spoons or whatever it might be for summer steelhead in particular, and for that matter, I like to use some of it for bobber and jig fishing as well. But EndurX seems to draw a lot of questions. Can we talk a little bit about that and why? I think the number one question is why doesn't it fade? Because the gear that I'm using literally has not faded at all.
Yeah, I think the main advantage of EndurX is the fact that traditional braided lines have used a white base. They braid that white base and then they put a surface coating over the top of it. Over time, that wears out. With the EndurX braid, what the manufacturers of the raw material has done is they have created the base material to actually be colored. So it's not white. It is the color that the product is. So if you're using the black, it's black. If you're using the green, it's green, or the high-vis green. And one exciting thing that that we want to talk about is the new aqua blue that's coming out. We just got it into our warehouse. Goes all the way up to 100 pound, and it's a real light color blue. So for the people that like to fish high vis, right now the only option we have is that electric green. Now we're going to have that aqua blue, but it's a really light color blue that's going to show up really well, real high visibility.
You literally just converted me. I didn't know because you know, I'm getting older. Okay, Don, I know that you're getting younger. You live in an area where the water just gets you down in age, where I live, you go up in age. I can't see that line as well. And that was one of the reasons why I swapped out when I did ultimately make the change to EndurX on a number of my reels, was the green, but I've never really liked yellow or green. The blue I've always liked, but it was one of the ones that faded the fastest depending on the manufacturer. So this is brand new. This will be available at some point in time, or is it already out there?
We just had it hit our warehouse in the last month. So it's just kind of getting out into the distribution chains right now.
Very interesting. Well, I can tell you that the green that I've been using hasn't faded at all, and I really appreciate that for a number of reasons. One, if I'm pulling plugs, right, even if I'm free drifting or bobber dogging, I'm able to see the different lines depending on how many rods I have out there. That helps out tremendously. But one of the things that I did notice with it is the way that it ties knots. It doesn't seem to slip a lot. That seems to be a little bit of a difference from some of the other products that are out there, even from P-Line.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we've got so there's something that's been added to the EndurX in the last year. It's something called Aqua Shield. So the Aqua Shield, this doesn't have to do with knots, but something I wanted to talk about. The Aqua Shield is something that allows it to not have the water permeate the braid. So normally, all gel spun polyethylenes are hydrophobic. They don't absorb any water. But on traditional braids, as the raw material starts to break down or as the coating starts to break down, water will get in between kind of the nooks and crannies of the braid. Whereas with the Aqua Shield, it really keeps the water from permeating the braid. And you know, the advantage to that is it resists freezing. We noticed that last year up in British Columbia. We go up there, as you know, and do a fall trip every year. And you know, some guys on our team were using other braided lines, not by P-Line, and they won't be invited back next year, by the way. And their line was freezing quite a bit, you know, when we were getting those cold, you know, 25-degree mornings. And, you know, like you get out on the coast near Tillamook and you get in some of those deep canyons in the winter time, and you never see the sun, and you're dealing with freezing line all day long if you're using braided line. The EndurX isn't going to freeze. The Aqua Shield helps it reduce water absorption, and it resists freezing.
I am so glad that you mentioned that. This past year, I actually spooled up a spinning reel in particular with a monofilament, the CXX, because we were having such trouble with braided line freezing while we were bobber dogging. And so I actually did something I've never done and swapped out specifically for that reason. Now, of course, when it got warm enough, I went back to my braided line setup. I didn't know that. Okay, so now I got another reason why I want to focus on that. Also, you guys put your money where your mouth is when you're talking about how your warranty works, the lifetime warranty on the EndurX against fading. I've never heard of something like that.
It is a lifetime warranty against fading. Exactly, it's a fade-free warranty. As you can see right there on the box, lifetime warranty. Owen, we have not had a single person in a year and a half return one spool with the product fading.
Well, I will attest to that. Quite honestly, everyone, and you all know this, it doesn't matter what type you're out. And there's a lot of people, Don, and again, you know this. There are folks that are very dedicated to the line that they've used for the last 5, 10, 20, 30 years, whatever it might be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they all fade, and they fade very, very quickly. All of them. There's just no way to get around it. But with this technology, I really enjoy it. One question I have to ask you, this actually came from one of our viewers in specifics to the EndurX. If you were to tie a knot that is going to combine your braided line to your EndurX to a mono, a CXX, or even a fluorocarbon, what do you like to tie when you're connecting those two lines?
So I would say the best thing you could do is get online, get to YouTube, and look at the Umberto knot. It's the one I use the most. There's a lot of wraps on it. It doubles up the monofilament, doubles up the braid, and it's really flows through the guides really well. It's a really clean knot. It's a little bit more complex to tie because you're stacking one way, and then you have to stack back down the same direction,
Sure.
And then you have to get all of the loops to kind of stack together cleanly when you pull it tight. So that would be one knot. I also use the double uni is a great knot too. So I use both of those when attaching mono to or fluorocarbon to braid.
What was the first name that of the line or the knot that you mentioned?
Umberto. Starts with a U.
All right,
the Umberto knot.
I'm writing that down for two reasons. One, I've really started to enjoy that depending on how I'm casting and what I'm throwing. If it's a spinner, if it's a spoon, I do like to have a little bit of a bumper on there if at all possible. Again, it just really depends on the situation that you're in. So who that was that sent that question in just a few minutes ago, we appreciate that. It was a great question for Don. All right, Don, I've got to cut to a break. When we come back, I want to talk about one of their newest fluorocarbons as well, but I want to get some insight on how if Don was magically teleported out of beautiful weather and sent up here to beautiful weather to target summer steelhead, how he might like to go after it. Maybe what his first two ways to target summer steelhead on maybe even his favorite system up here to target summer steelhead. Okay, so everyone stick with us. We'll be back with Don Newman from P-Line in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Chevy Silverado and the impressive Turbo Max engine. Flex your muscle with the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Official truck of Outdoor GPS.